Hey YouTube. So here is my Mother's Day update video. As you can see, I'm with my mother. And yeah, so like I mentioned in my last video, a lot of people ask me about whether or not my family's supportive, and all that stuff. And yes, my mom is supportive, my parents are supportive, clearly, because she's making a YouTube video. And yeah, so I guess, I was thinking maybe you could talk a little bit about, like, kind of your process with it, and what that was like for you when I came out and stuff.
Well, it's still a process for me, as it is for you, too. I mean, you're just in the process also. It's not easy. I think it's a hard thing, you know. 19 years ago, I had this little baby girl in my arms, and now I have a full-grown son. So it's a bit of a jump for a mom, I think, you know. I'm learning a lot of things I didn't know before, an awful lot that I didn't know, that I didn't have any reason to particularly pay attention to. The only thing that I'm always fearful, because Riley is in a group of people that are victimized, and that scares me a lot. He would go all over Seattle at night by himself, and it would just terrify me. It really scared me.
I remember that. You wouldn't let me go to Seattle for a while.
No, it was, you know, it's scary. That part worries me. I'm really impressed with the community around Riley, not only the Camp 10 Trees community, but even our old friends who love him, period. They're having a little trouble with the pronoun thing.
Yeah.
They're having real trouble with the pronoun thing. Yes, and I think that's the hardest step for us, I think. I just don't want to raise children that are assholes. That's the biggest thing to me.
You can't swear, Mom. It's on YouTube. I love that you're the one that swore for that.
But, you know, it's a bigger concern to me that my kids are decent and honest and live up to their word and are fair. And that's really a much bigger issue to me than what their sexual situation is. I just don't. I want them to be good people.
Yeah.
And but it's hard. This is a very hard thing. It is really enormous in my life. But you know, I trust him. I trust. You know, I know that it's not a decision you just went, oh, okay. You really put a lot of effort and energy into determining that for yourself. So I don't know. I mean, you know, 20 years ago I would not have said that this is what I would be.
Older and older.
19. This is not what I would have thought I would be doing on Mother's Day. So I love him. That's all that matters.
No.
Yeah.
If you could give one piece of advice to a trans parent that, like, are just finding out, or just a parent that has a trans kid, like, what advice would you give them?
That it's not their trip. There's nothing they can do about it. It's not their life. It's the life of their kid. And they either accept that or work on accepting it. You know, there's nothing that a parent can do for any choice any kid makes. And that's a period. I mean, it's not just about being trans. It's about choices any of your kids make. And I think you got to just have faith that you did the right thing raising them, and that they're not going to go off and do something absolutely crazy. You know, so I think it's probably the advice you give anybody is, you know, have faith that your kids know what they're doing, that you raised them right.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so what has been, like, the hardest part for you, and what's been a part that's been, like, if there's been really good parts, what has that been?
Well, the really good part is that you've been more happy in the last year than I've seen you in a long time. I think you really, really struggled through high school, not only because you didn't like school particularly, but all of your own personal stuff was huge. And it was just a constant struggle. Since you've left high school, you've been able to go seek your community. I think that's the difference. You have a community around you, and that's, I think, really, really important. So that makes me real relieved that you're happy. It's just the whole fact that you are male is just hard. It's just hard.
Yeah.
You know?
How?
Because it's not anything in my life that I have a lot of experience with.
Maleness?
No, trans.
Oh, okay.
You know, I don't know anything about it. I don't have that. You're the first person I know. Oh, there you go. So it's hard for me to understand, I guess, that you know that about yourself. You know, that you discovered that. I don't know.
Cool. I'm trying to think of like good questions to ask you. Maybe I should have done a little bit more pre-planning. As always is the case.
Last minute.
Yeah.
I think the thing that it's so important is the whole faith thing, and this is not religious faith. This is faith in you. Belief that you know what you're doing, and that it's all there for a purpose, and it's all going to be okay. It's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I just keep going forward with for actually pretty much everything. It's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be real hard for some family members to see you as you change. Not so much our friends in Bellingham, but family members who don't see you much.
Yeah.
And I think one thing I would advise trans young people is to extend a tremendous amount of patience, because it's important to remember that you had this all figured out in your head before you told me. So you were way ahead of me. I'm still trying to catch up, and you have to be extremely patient with the people who forget to say he, that still say your first name, your given name. You know, you have to be patient with us for us to come around.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So obviously, when you're trans, your life changes a lot. And I think sometimes we don't think about the way that our transition can impact our families' lives. And so I was just wondering, what's the way that your life has changed because of me coming out?
I have a son.
That's it?
No, but that's a pretty big one. When I didn't start with one.
So, well, you said...
well, you know, it's opened up discussions a lot with, especially with our closest friends, people that we consider family. Brought up a lot of discussions about that. Trying to understand it, what's the difference between this and that, and how do you know, and and they've all been so great. So that's been a big thing. It's hard for me. I have to work really hard to be sure I always say he. Although I'm pretty good at it, I think.
Yeah, really, you are. High five.
I think I'm pretty good at it. But I have to remember that I will be introducing you to people you don't know as my son. And that's like a whole new thing for me.
Yeah.
A whole new thing. You know, it's like, oh yes, I have to rethink that.
That's awesome.
It's an experience. It's a really huge, huge learning experience. I'm sure you all know.
Just a little bit. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this video with me. I love you a lot. Happy Mother's Day. I love you a lot. Alright, so that's my Mother's Day YouTube update. I hope that I'm in this shot, because I'm not going to reshoot this. And I'm realizing now that maybe you're right, and that the camera isn't at the right angle. So I hope that you all are doing well, and I will I'm going to start posting every week. The first week, like I said, I didn't see enough changes to post every week, but I'm starting to now, which is cool. And at my last appointment, my doctor increased my dose to 50 milligrams a week, so a quarter of a milliliter every week. And I'm not going to the doctors anymore. I'm doing them myself, and I got my Sharps container, and I got Band-Aids. I got Barbie and Batman Band-Aids, so I can choose how I feel for the day. And yeah, so I'm all set up about it. And I think I might eventually make a video of me doing it, because some guys have done that, and I don't know, I think it's cool. So yeah, so that's my update, and I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll see you soon.